Broadcasting in high definition. Channel 11 News starts with breaking news.
Psst, you're on.
Pre-game anchor handshake. Morning from middle of nowhere, PA.
Johnstown.
I'm Barry Cade, and this is my co-anchor Trina Woods. Breaking news in the cell phone industry. Apple has just released its latest innovation in communications technology, the IMA Phone.
We're here with Max Power, the creator of the IMA Phone. Mr. Power, thank you for taking some time out of your busy schedule today to sit here and talk with us.
Hey Barry and Trina, thanks for having me. I appreciate this opportunity to really enlighten the folks at home about this remarkable innovation.
So Max, tell us a little about what the IMA Phone really is and how it works.
Well, we made telecommunications history by taking the iPhone series to the next level. We took the software from a regularly sized iPhone and converted it into a chip that we surgically embedded into the owner's brain. In non-scientific terms, we went from blah to yeah.
And how exactly do you get the phone to work without a tangible device in your hands?
Well, you see, that's the great thing about this new type of technology. Instead of having to constantly carry around a cumbersome 4-ounce device, you are the device. But if you're heavy, then your phone will be heavy. There's nothing I can do about that, sorry. But the chip also eliminates all the problems you might have, such as losing your device, cracking screens, etc. Sorry, just got a text message. I'll put it on vibrate.
I'm curious to know, where did your inspiration for the device actually come from?
Well, like many other inventions, it took long hours in the labs and many nights away from my family. I can't say I minded it very much though. I was looking at statistics and people only spend an average 10 hours a day on their phones. Now that's not enough at all. The main culprit, people can't text when they sleep, and that's a problem. Now, instead of being on the phone for only 10 hours a day, you're in touch with all your social media, sports, news, weather, and Angry Birds 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, until you perish a death because of a terrible accident.
And how does the owner read text messages or use the keypad without an actual phone in your hands?
That's a great question, Trina. It seems to be a big concern with people who are on the fence about whether or not to purchase this phone. The solution we came up with was to implant clear films over the user's eyes that act like a projector screen. Once the screen is turned on, he or she can use simple hand motions to select and carry out basic functions.
Alright, so are there any innovations we can expect in the near future with the IMA Phone?
Well, obviously our main goal is to turn people more into robots who avoid human interaction at all costs. Once this idea takes off, all interaction will take place by phone, and we'll become a more futuristic society. Next stop, the moon, and you won't even have to leave your house.
I've always wanted to go to the moon.
Alright, Trina, you're getting a little off topic here. Mr. Power, how have you personally benefited from creating this revolutionary device?
Well, socially, I've really taken my virtual profile up to a whole nother level. I now have 6 new friend requests on Facebook, which brings my total up to 28. That is if I accept them all, though, which I will undoubtedly. I think one might be a 40-year-old man posing as a Vegas call girl, though. Oh well. I also have a new follower on Twitter, so my phone is really blowing up. Did I mention this all happened within 2 weeks? I have absolutely no time to spend with my family. Let me just turn off notifications altogether. Sorry I'm so popular, and I love it.
Are there any bugs with the phone? And if so, how are you going to plan on applying software updates?
Well, right now we're working out the obvious uncontrollable tremors in public, violent outbursts during meetings or class, and of course taking drastic measures in an intense game of Angry Birds or Temple Run. The other day I mistakenly clubbed an innocent bystander on the subway while playing a game of pinch hitter. Good times. As for software updates, they are just as functional as they would be on other phones. The IMA phone sacrifices nothing in terms of ease of use. The user can connect to Wi-Fi networks or just remain on their carrier's data network for the downloading and installation of the updates and bug fixes.
Seems like pretty amazing technology, Mr. Power. Pardon me for being afraid to ask, but where do you insert the charging port?
I don't want to discuss this right now, so no comment. I still have nightmares.
Okay. Well, thank you for your time today, Max, and that interesting insight of the new IMA phone, now on sale in retail stores across the country.
Well, it seems that we might be having some technical difficulties regarding our next interview with Mark Skid, a self-proclaimed consumer expert who recently purchased the phone.
Until we get that fixed, let's go to Sunny Storm with your local severe weather forecast.
Thanks, Trina. Now, early in the week, we're going to be experiencing some light rain shower with temperatures around.
Sonny, I don't believe that that's Cambria County.
Oh. You're right. Sorry about that. Now, as you can see on the screen behind me, there are a lot of various lines on this screen, in colors such as black and yellow.
Drum roll, please.
No. Not even close. Not at all.
Well, it looks like it's going to be warm in some areas and hot in others. It's only going to be 64 degrees in Erie, and it's 82 in Philly. Wow, isn't that something? As we move out to the national map, we see more pretty lines along with the letters L and H that will correspond with the colors. So it's my understanding that L stands for lovely and H stands for help me. Is that correct, guys?
Well, Sonny, I don't think anything you said is right at all, but it sure beats not for certain Burton.
Okay, moving on to the perception tables.
Precipitation tables.
Who's the weatherman here, Trina? I was referring to my perception on the precipitation tables. This just in from the National Weather Service. There is a severe mist warning for one academic avenue from the times of 2:52 p.m. to 2:56 p.m.
Well, it sounds like you'd have a better chance of getting wet in the back row of SeaWorld.
To be honest, I don't even know what this stuff means. I'm just a temp that was called in 2 hours ago. Can you learn weather in 2 hours? No, I didn't think so. So don't judge me. Back to you, Barry and Trina.
Okay, when we come back, more on the IMA phone, along with our weekly historical spotlight. This week's topic, a modest proposal. But now, a word from our sponsors.
And we're back. Thanks for sticking with us here at Channel 11 News. And now we're going to do an exclusive interview with literature analyst William Board in regards to the seemingly insignificant world of literature.
Thanks, Barry. In recent news, Google released its latest Google Doodle today, commemorating the birthday of Jonathan Swift, one of the first renowned writers of satire. The writer of Harry Potter series, I recall correctly.
Not at all, Chris, but we could call it the Harry Potter series of the 16th century to partially save you some embarrassment. Now, Mr. Swift is most notably mentioned for his writing of A Modest Proposal, which in simple terms explains how much money we could accumulate by using infants born to peasants as a resource, rather than actually raising them as children.
Can't say I'm much of a reader, William.
Please, call me Bill.
Okay, Bill. So what do you mean by resources?
Well, you see, Chris, I think his ideas could even be applied to modern-day society for the fact that he just talks about how much revenue is wasted, keeping those kids alive. Being that they're born to peasants, they're really only going to be raised to, they're going to amount to beggars and thieves. Instead, we could sell them and, in turn, profit from fashionable accessories, food, luxurious clothes, and while the wealthy are always trying to keep up with the Joneses, I think it would be an instant hit, personally.
Well, did this remarkable idea ever go through? It seems pretty modest to me.
Well, you see, it really wasn't a legitimate proposal. The point of satire is to poke fun at one matter by greatly exaggerating another through sarcasm, mockery, irony, so on and so forth. And at the time that the piece was written, there were wealthy English landowners that were greatly oppressing the rights of the Irish. And with that being said, there was really no regard for middle class or peasants in Ireland, but more so wealthy English landowners.
So how are Protestant baby bags and McInfant nuggets supposed to solve a simple discrepancy between social classes?
It wasn't supposed to. Like I said, he was simply poking fun at the fact that the lower classes of Ireland at the time were being simply devoured by these wealthy English landowners. They would place a heavy tax and make it really hard for the Irish farmers to get by. And the satirical point of the piece was that, I mean, if they were going to be getting eaten by the wealthy, I mean, why not eat something themselves, make some money from it?
Interesting. So what are some of the major highlights of the proposal?
Well, you see, Swift states a number of benefits. Some of the more prominent include the fact that, the number of Catholics would be lowered. Those hardworking Irish farmers would be able to pay their rent. People would have more incentive to get married, make money. And the food could be made popular at taverns, And, I mean, overall, the economy of Ireland would just go through the roof. I mean, it's just be such a profitable industry. But no worries, being that it really wasn't a real proposal, no babies got eaten or sold.
This all seems a little hard to follow for my taste. No offense.
None taken, but if Mr. Swift were still alive today, he would probably backhand you across your dumb face.
Now, let's take a brief dive into the world of sports. Barry, take it away.
We've just received breaking news. Three-time wrestling state champion John Rizzo has just consumed his first potato chip ever. 8 hours of workout ensued.
Now that's dedication.
Indeed, Trina. Speaking of dedication, the annual Richland High School Dodgeball Tournament concluded this past week. The previously feared 2011 champions were dethroned by Black and Yellow, a team consisting of multiple average Joes who had no chance on paper, but pulled off a quick upset in a 2-game sweep.
Well, Barry, heart is an attribute not included on the traditional paper analysis, and Black and Yellow certainly out-hearted their competition.
Well, this isn't a love story, Trina. 3 players from the team received D2 scholarships yesterday to Delta State University, home of the Fighting Okras. Both CK12 and C the Real 22 are projected to be key contributors if they decide to enter the 2012 draft. First round starts at 8 p.m. tonight on ESPN 8, the Ojo.
It seems as though the technical problems we were experiencing earlier in the show have been fixed, and we now welcome IMA Phone owner Mark Skid to the program.
It's great to be here, guys.
So, Mark, earlier we gained insight on the basic idea behind the phone. Can you tell us what it's like to actually own one?
Hang on, Barry. I'm having a little trouble hearing you. Let me turn up the volume.
How about now?
Yep, we're golden. Back to your original question. Personally, I really enjoy the hands-on interaction with the phone's functions.
Can you show us and some of the folks at home some of these functions?
Sure, just let me launch this last Angry Bird. Okay, basic functions. Well, there are 3 basic functions I'd like to demonstrate today. And the first is a very user-friendly type of function. It's something all teenagers love to do, and that's picture taking. Now, in order to take a picture, the operator must open his mouth and slap himself in the head simultaneously, like so. However, we do recommend that you limit the number of pictures you take in a day because concussion-like symptoms have been occurring in phone users. The second function I'd like to do is Bluetooth. Now, I can't actually show you because I don't have another person here with me today, but basically the idea is you stand 10 feet apart, run as fast as you can towards each other and collide, and that jolt will transfer the data from one person to another. The third function is how to download data from the App Store, Internet, etc. And that's a very simple function because we treat data like a milkshake. And in order to get data out of a milkshake, you have to suck it out through a straw. So the simple function is, and that's how you download data. And those are 3 very basic functions.
With all these elaborate motions, have any bystanders on the street been judging you?
Well, those who already have the device or stay up to date on technology think nothing of it. However, I have been called a variety of names by groups of people like the Amish.
Can you give us an example of one of these names?
Certainly. Imaginary painter and hand wizard seem to be the most common. Actually, A priest came up to me the other day and wanted to perform an exorcism.
Sounds like a pretty tough social life.
Well, Trina, with all first major inventions come setbacks or issues. When talking about the IMA phone, the pros vastly outweigh the cons.
So you are a pleased customer who would recommend purchasing this phone.
Without a doubt, I give it a 6 out of 5 stars.
Well, thanks for your time, Mark. I'll let you get back to your land of make-believe.
Well, Barry, I'm already there. I'm already there.
Well, there you have it, folks. Until next time.
Hold on, Trina. Before we go off the air, the FBI would like to inform the public that a midget psychic fortune teller has escaped from the state penitentiary and is still on the loose. To reiterate, there is a small medium at large.
For Channel 11, I'm Trina Woods.
And I'm Barry Cade. I think the teleprompter might be broken.
Stay classy, Johnstown. Although I know you probably won't.